gets rushing, we slow it down, finding light where shadows surround. Heart to heart, where the truth is told. We rise together, stories unfold. The gold is within. If you don't go within, you go without. Every voice, every heart, it's what we're about. Together we rise, hand in hand, soul to soul. Warm, safe and loving, making each other.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, welcome.
I'm Coach Alisha Schwartz.
And I am Coach Rochelle.
We are the mother-daughter dynamic duo.
Yes, we sure are.
And this is our Enlighten Views series. And we're going to have our guest on in a few minutes. But again, the title, right? This is so great. Baby Boomers and Gen X, bridging the heart of relationships across generations, right? Yeah, it's a great conversation. So what comes up when I ask you that, bridging the heart of relationships across generations?
You know, I was always the one to be more sensitive in my family. I was always affected by certain things.
Yeah.
And so bridging my heart, whereas I needed to learn what I needed to do as far as that's concerned, because I did not have that. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I grew up, it was just very, 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 very different. And so I always knew that I was always searching for who I am and who I'm being. And I don't know if this makes sense, but anywhere I would go, in a car, or when my girls were younger and I'd be walking in with a baby carriage and looking at the windows and watching myself, or looking in a mirror and watching myself. And it was what I got many years later was I was really looking for me. And so my heart was always open, but because of where I came from, it was so shut down. I mean, it just was.
Yeah. And I think in that generation, the baby boomer generation, it was that way, where you really didn't open your heart because you were told, you know, no one talked, or everyone put things under the rug.
Correct.
Or
don't say that. People
not
will laugh at you. Yeah.
So you kind of shut off a part of your heart,
which is a big part. Yes, very much so. And so grateful, because if you look at that, it really inspired me to find out more about myself. And opening my heart is like, it's the most beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that you can give yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can have people come in and you have this love and this admiration, this feeling of sharing who you are being and your value, whereas I didn't have any of that. I work really hard.
Yeah. And I think on my generation, the Gen X generation, I think, you know, feelings were more open.
Yes, it sure
we had
was.
more dialogue around. It's okay to share your feelings, say what you feel, mean what you say what you mean. More direct, I think. So it wasn't as much as that your generation, which is like kind of shutting that off.
Very much
in my
so.
generation, it was bringing that out more, and then showing your generation perhaps that it's good to do that. Now you worked on yourself on personal growth wise, so I think that helped you in your generation.
I would say, yeah.
But people that haven't, you know, I mean, that's part of growing and personal growth and transformation. It's like, it's a great thing to be able to look at your generation and say, okay, that was that generation. It doesn't define me.
Right.
It doesn't define who I am. And we all have shared values, right? Whether you're a boomer, a Gen X, millennial, we all have a shared value, which does make us stronger foundation, a stronger future for all generations, I think.
Absolutely,
Because
yes.
anyone can learn from that generation. Wow, your generation, they were more shut down.
They sure
Right?
were.
In my generation, they were more open, direct,
Yeah.
more independent,
Yeah.
you know?
There
So,
was a lot around that. And I think the major thing was shame and not, being judged.
And then judging
And then
yourself.
judging yourself was huge.
Mhm.
It was huge.
Yeah. Which then, again, if you're in that kind of dialogue with yourself, in those thoughts and beliefs,
Mhm.
the thoughts become your beliefs. So you can look at the generation, the boomer generation. I was talking to a client of mine, and she has parents that are from that era, and she's like, they are impossible. They're stubborn. Now, these are people that haven't
Right.
looked or wanted to look,
Right.
or they were closed off to it. They're still stuck in that generation.
Yeah.
Not wrong. It's just
No.
what it is.
And
you know?
I think if I really look back, I'm so blessed and grateful because I took what I learned and I shared it with my mother.
Yeah, you did.
And I actually coached my mother.
Yeah, and that was how old was she? when you
She
coached
was
her? Like
in her 80s.
Yeah.
And it was fascinating where both my sisters had no idea about where she had been and what she's been through. And it was a gift for myself, and I know it was a gift for her.
What did you get from her sharing that? Just brief, like what was the one thing you got
I
left
held
with
a
when she shared?
very sacred space for her because don't forget, again, she came from shame, she came
Right.
from
Guilt.
judgment. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But she knew I had a lot of love,
Mm,
and she knew I was not judging her. My heart was right there.
yeah.
And so we did a couple of sessions, and then when it got a little bit too much, I kind of felt it, and I just, I said, it's fine. I mean, we both got a lot from it. So that was the greatest gift that I gave myself, and hopefully for her as well.
Yeah, and when we bring our guests on, they're going to share their experience.
Yeah.
And I think this is a great conversation because, we can all learn from each generation if we're open
And willing to
and willing to
listen.
hear and listen and see. If we really were open to all generations, we'd see there was a common theme, there was a shared value, right? And in that we could see more of ourselves, which would make it even stronger for our futures.
Absolutely.
And the ones that are, after us.
Yep.
So we are going to go to a sponsor little break right now, and we'll be right back with our guests. All right,
Lucky.
we've got the beautiful Dortha, the beautiful Alka. They're here. Hi, ladies.
Hi, welcome.
We are excited to dive into this topic today and just, kind of go around and share your view and what you've heard so far and what's kind of come up so you can share your view with everybody.
Yeah, I'd be interested in
Yeah.
knowing.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting from my generation to you ladies.
because we're all, me and
You all.
Dortha and Alka are in
Yeah.
the same generation.
I'm all here by myself.
But you're really not.
No, I know. So yeah, what do you feel about this? The baby boomers and the Gen X bridging, your heart,
Of
and
relationships.
gratitude and relationships into the generations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this topic, the conversation. I think it's just so interesting, and what you talked about, Rochelle, finding you, because that is the essence. And as you and Alicia shared, communicating with the baby boomers, and Rochelle, like you coach your mother, but that all starts with knowing who you are. First of all, have you been open? Have you been doing the work yourself internally? Like the sponsorship video talked about, the healing starts from within. Nothing ever happens, or the change that you want to help another person. So whether it's the baby boomers, whatever the case may be, you have to be open first of all, and realizing yourself. So when you talked about the values, I will also say is the integrity. For me, is integrity. I've got to be integral with myself, because if I'm not integral with what I say, what I do, and all that goes together, they are synergistic.
Yeah.
So if I'm not integral, I cannot be integral with my family, with anybody else. So it all starts within. And I think this is such a great conversation that Dortha and I can share, because we have to be open to ourselves, first of all, to really learn and know, and how we can help the other generations to come.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Because remember, and you know this because you have a boomer mother, both, I mean, right? So, or a father or whatever, in that if they, and you've seen it, because I see it, because I have a father that's a boomer. I mean, boomer.
Yeah.
And he is so stuck
Boom,
in that
out of this
generation. And there's no openness. He's right and everyone else is wrong. And so there's no shared value, right? Because so you just have to let people be where they are and just meet them where they are and just find some commonality somewhere that you can relate to. I mean, that's what I've learned through that relationship.
Have you had anything with your mom at all when it comes to this question?
Yes, I have. And I shared that when the first episode, that my mother and I, we never got along. We were always that butt heads. And this was more so when, I would call her once a week. It was on the phone. That's when her and I would butt heads. But Alicia, now coming to your point, now I've come to the point that if anybody is stubborn, my mother or anyone in my family, I just gotta let them be. I cannot have that energy affect me.
Correct.
So whoever was open to listen to what I have to say, and if you're not, that's okay, it's fine. So now, so we just have to learn. I think every generation we have to tolerate and just let things go as they are, because they will come back, and people always realize what they've missed out or what they can learn, because you have the wisdom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That is
Absolutely.
very, very true. The wisdom.
Thank you so much for
that's very
sharing
good.
that.
Yeah.
Alka,
And
that was
the wisdom that comes, you would hope that they listen,
Yeah.
because
Well,
there's so much to learn from somebody such as my age, and what I've experienced, other people have experienced. You can't even put a price on the wisdom.
but remember, this is what's so interesting about the boomer generation. Remember, you have done work,
Yes.
right? So someone that hasn't done any work, personal growth work, you still have to meet them where they
Right,
are, right?
correct.
Because there's no other way to go, because
Yeah.
you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yes,
So
true.
you just allow, and
Yeah.
I love that, meet people where
Where
they
they
are.
are.
It's a great
Yeah, it is. It's great.
way to just allow.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so that's good.
Mhm.
So Dortha,
Yeah. Hi.
Waiting for
Hello.
you. pearls of wisdom.
Hey,
I like
Penny,
you.
being a little wallflower. Yeah, I
No,
think
never. You can never be that. Sorry, not happening.
I think the word that comes to mind is personal accountability, right? Yes, it's meeting people where they are and understanding people are capable of meeting you where they are, which is like kind of this whole thing we're talking about. I like to think that our parents try to do better by us than they'd had from their parents, right? That's part of that curve of becoming an evolved human. And when we do our work, we really get to see the light shine on that. And it's one of those things where some of those conversations can be really difficult. And I think, having patience, having just having that compassionate heart and leaning in with that compassionate heart is really important to be able to have difficult conversations, or to have a conversation where you don't want to hear what the other person has to say, but this is how the common ground gets built, right? We have to be, and it's a reciprocity thing. It's not just, oh, you need to listen to me because, and it's
Right.
not, I need to listen to you just because, right? It's respect and give and take on both sides. And I think that it can be a really beautiful thing. And like Rochelle was saying about that wisdom, right? Being able to tap in and ask questions and then just sit back and listen, right? I think we talked about this in the first episode, where I think people are so busy
Yeah.
listening to pop in and interject rather than to hear and absorb what someone else is saying. And I think that's where I'm coming from with that piece about personal accountability. For me, it's really, how can I own, like Alka said, with that integrity piece, how can I show up and how can I be my best self and give of myself without overgiving, because that's also a thing, and meeting someone where they are and having those difficult conversations. And I say they're difficult because, our parents didn't talk about certain things, right? Things got swept under the rug, and now our generation is breaking some of that open, and the next generation is doing even more so. And I think it's just that continued evolution of learning, growing, expanding the conversations.
And it's so exciting too. I mean, right? I mean, because there's so much more room and expansion for other generations because of what we went through in our generation, right? I mean, it's kind of exciting because I look at my niece and I'm like, wow, she's incredible, this thing. I'm like, where'd she come from? But it's that generation, you know, she's 19 today. And it's like, just the way she looks at life is
It's
just with a
amazing.
lens of confidence and excitement and just, awe, and I love that. And she's 19 and I'm like, wow.
That's amazing.
And,
As far as going back to the boomer, if you have siblings and you're the one that stands out, it's like you're talking a foreign language. So I had to learn not to engage in anything that I did, because I was always looked at like there's something wrong with me. She's really crazy. And even to this day, they may, it's like one sister would go, I can feel her go, oh God, here she goes again. That kind of stuff. And the other one, who is the younger one, is more wanting to know a little bit. But the minute I open up and say something that is not what she believes, shut down. And so I kind of know where to go and what to say. And it could be very boring at times, because you can't say and share how you authentically feel. We all have a different thing about our parents. They can't believe what I said. They're just shocked.
that's why I'm so grateful she's done so much work on herself.
Because you can talk about it.
Easier,
Yes.
for sure.
And when I say certain things and they go, are you sure you're not making it up?
But again, I look at, and I'm sure you all can relate, I have my other side, my dad, who's not like that. And he was my biggest challenge and my biggest growth at the same time, because I had to really go deep to get parts of me that I didn't love, and then be able to have a different kind of relationship with him. One that I can be on mutual ground. Maybe it was through sports, right? Because he likes sports, or maybe it's through something political or not political, or something I could grab onto so that I can have a deeper connection to him, right? So I think we could do that with anyone, really, if we're looking from that lens. What do you guys think? You ladies. I can't hear. Mute.
I love the lens where Rochelle just mentioned. You have to let it be, and you have to let people meet them halfway. But if they're not willing to meet you halfway, there's just no point. But I really like the idea of how we can, bridge the gap somehow. And if there is a way, then that's great, because we all have to learn, whether it's a baby boomer or it's a Gen X, we have to just learn to have that open mind to what do we need to do. And I think that's the most important. And I think the Gen X do miss that piece, because they all want to, we talk over each other. And because the baby boomers are not listening, we talk over each other. But if we listen to what they're saying, and that's what, we talked about the wisdom. That's what the wisdom, baby boomers have the wisdom, but we need to be patient and learn as to what they have to, share and what they're saying, because otherwise you're going to miss out. And the next generation also has to learn from us, the Gen X. You mentioned your niece, Rochelle, Alisha, and what she can learn from you. So every generation, we're all here to learn from each other.
Yeah, great point.
And does it filter out to your clients all, if you have, like, I'm just curious, if you have somebody that is a boomer, do you notice things differently in how you approach them?
Dortha's like, yes.
Yes. Yeah, I do. I notice communication is very different. Like, it's much more need for details versus like bullet points. I have two clients in particular who are.
I'm laughing because I see this with my mom. That's why.
Yeah. And so, like, I'll send it and I'll think, oh, it's great, and I'll read through it a couple times. I'll like close the email and come back, make sure, and I send it feeling confident that I've hit all the marks. And they come back and they're like, this doesn't make sense, and I'm like, damn it. I tried really hard and I still missed the mark. So then it comes back to me, right? Okay, like, what did I miss? What did I not like? Right. So it's that piece of communication. And yeah, I absolutely see it with my clients. And it's one of those things that I think is really powerful when we take the time to own our piece of it, right? And going back to it, okay, it's like the different styles of learning, right? Some people are auditory, some people are kinesthetic, and some people are visual. And it's that same kind of thing, but with generations and like personality styles and how we absorb and take in information. It's the exact same thing. My husband learned not too long ago that he retains information better if he hears it rather than reading it. And I don't mind either way, but it was one of those interesting things that we didn't realize about ourselves. We're both Gen Xers, but like, it's a very interesting. And so, when we listen to a book on audio, he retains a lot more. And he's like, oh, did you remember that part? And I was like, I think about it. Yep. I remember.
Yeah. That's a great point too. Yeah, because we all do learn differently.
So differently.
It is the same in the generations.
And can you imagine having a learning disability and trying to do this?
Yeah.
Wow.
Challenge.
What a challenge.
Yeah. We understand that. Really understand that.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's interesting. So your clients that are the boomers, you see, primarily it's the communication.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
And then how do you adjust that? How do you adjust? Just by communicating, obviously, with your client, right?
So yeah, so I've learned a couple of things. I use AI quite a bit, and I have AI help me in this capacity. Sometimes I'll take it and I'll say, look, this person is, this, and they're, and I give a little bit of context. I have client folders for each of my projects that I'm working on, so I can give it like a brand voice, and I can explain, okay, this is how this is their vernacular. How can I bridge the gap, because they're saying that I'm missing the mark and they're not understanding. So it comes back to me, right? And that's that personal accountability. And I want to make sure that I'm delivering in a way that makes sense and reaches them. So that's actually on me. And I very much take ownership of that I want it to be clear and salient for them, and not like, what is she talking about? So, so AI has been helpful in that, and it helps me when I'm writing the next email or the next piece of content for them, that I'm like, oh yeah, and remember that time she said she didn't like blah 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 blah. I can remember those things and pull it into the next piece. So it's an always evolving and like living, breathing experience as far as creating something that they're able to engage with, and that reaches them and lands with them.
Yeah, that is true. And Alka, because I know you do a lot of interviewing, do you notice the different generational, the way you communicate with them now, or has it been something that you've always done and you were aware of? Do you know what I'm saying? From a boomer to a Gen X to whatever the younger Gen Z.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been aware, and even today, if I'm interviewing, I'm just I'm very mindful as to what are the questions, or how I'm, what are the questions that I'm asking in a way that perhaps it won't offend them. So you just got to be mindful as to how how I'm asking the questions in a way that, it's appropriate in a way. So yeah, just being very mindful, just being aware as to how I need to conduct myself in those times, those moments.
Yeah, I remember I had a client, she was a Gen Z coaching client, and she was from another country. And so when I was coaching her, she's like, I'm not getting this. And I'm like, okay, Alisha, you got to get your patience on. I'm like thinking, how could you not get it? Okay, let's bring it back. Okay, so what I learned from her is that because of the language, there was a language barrier there. And the way in which I was coaching wasn't as effective. So I had to learn, and I said, okay. And that's where I think the intuition and, like you were saying, just listening, you can kind of gauge to what's needed. So I started to send a picture of what I was doing, so that after the session, she was able to process it deeper, and then also do it a little different when I was on the phone with her, so she would understand. And then it worked out beautifully, and she got what she needed. But I never had that. In 28 years, I never had a language situation. So I had to dig in deep with that. And I'm so grateful, because now at least I know how to work with that. So again, I think it's what we're all saying, is being open and being in the listening.
Yeah, and I think
adjusting.
Yeah, I think also for boomers, it's also
I laugh because we go through this all the time. We get into little digs every now and then. Like it's just
when I would coaching somebody of my age, let's say, or boomer, whatever, it's really opening up a very sacred space, because sometimes there's not a lot of trust. And so by holding that space for them, and I've used that in, I think, every area, whatever work I did, I used it, not realizing it at the time. But because of that, and I guess coming from where I came from, it was so important. So to be heard and to feel safe. So I always come from that space of your heart, always. And I feel that opens up a huge gift for them, And I mean, I used to do photography, and it was unbelievable, because it was boudoir. And the people that I know that were very conservative, all of a sudden, it was like, are you kidding me? but I know I provided that space
Mhm.
with no judgment. You see, I came from a lot of judgment, so I learned that as well. So I think when you coach someone of my age, very, very different than Gen
Right,
X. Very different.
And I find that the thing that I have with my mom that is the challenge for me that I'm learning every single day, every single minute, is I'm so quick. And I have to slow down the load and just really go slower and listen more and absorb more, because I'm like, what do you mean? I got, and you're on to the next thing. And so, she teaches me that all the time,
Yeah.
to slow down and really listen to that generation and understand they're not coming from the same place, but they have great information if you listen, so it's a daily thing.
Yeah, it sure is. That it is. And it's nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice opportunity to learn from one another.
Yeah.
And hold that space for each other, because we can get so much rich information just by being in the listening.
Mhm.
All right, ladies, it's been
Wow.
wrapping up time. I mean, we can go on and on, at least for a longer time, for sure. But we want to thank you,
Yes.
ladies. You bring so much,
Thank you.
so
God,
much
you certainly
wisdom
do. You really
and-
do.
and great depth of who
Yeah.
you are. And I know everyone that's going to be listening to this will get so much out of it. So
And being
thank you.
so open and vulnerable. Really, it's great. It's so nice to see that.
So
It
thank
really
you
is
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amazing. You're a gift.
Yes.
So are you.
Generation Power.
Love it.
So we'll be right back with our sponsor break, and we'll come back and give you a little bit of an action step for this. So we'll be back.
Okay.
Wow,
Yeah,
that
that was
was-
cool, wasn't it?
That was
awesome.
amazing.
It really
So
was.
we
We
thank
had
Alka and Dortha. We bless you.
great
Thank
gift.
you. And everyone listening will get a lot.
just great ladies.
So what do you think the action could be for this conversation? I mean, the first thing that comes up is to really, if you're working or with a client, or you're
Mhm.
working with a mother or anyone that's a boomer, is to stop and listen more than speak. Because I think we get so much when we listen, right?
Mhm. And
Wait, what do
think
they say? 2 ears.
2 ears and no.
What's that? I don't know
One
what the
mouth?
saying is. One mouth and 2
2
ears
ears.
or something.
Yeah,
I don't know the
it
whole thing,
is.
but you'll get the point.
But I think that at least from our generation, my generation, it's really listening, because the wisdom is really, you learn so much.
Yeah,
And so,
listen
yeah.
twice as much as you speak.
Yeah.
Yes, 2 ears and 1 mouth.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Thank
That's
you.
So
Yes,
true. Thank you.
that
Thank
is
you.
true.
So we are going to see you again real
Yes, we
soon. But
will.
until then, bye for now.
Yes, from our heart to your heart. Mwah.
In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light where shadows surround. Heart to heart, where the truth is told.